Mine?
You good. And go.
Thanks. All right. Wow. We got a surprise guest on this episode, right? All right. We're going to spoil this episode. I want to tell you who it is right now. Of course, if you've seen the episode, you know who we're talking about, but
if you know,
very
you
pleased. Know. Yeah. All right. I can't, I don't want to say I told you so. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. This is Father Son Galaxy. I am Kerwin, and this is Keith, and we are here to talk about Star Wars: The Bad Batch, episode 12, called Juggernaut.
I'm the Juggernaut.
All right. So, hello, everyone. If you're watching us on YouTube or Instagram, Facebook, thank you. Let's get into this one. All right. So, there are two storylines. Okay. Let's talk about Tantus. All right. When we last left off, poor Omega back to Tantus, right? Hoping that, her brothers are going to find a way to rescue her. But in the meantime, as soon as she gets there, Emery, what does she do? She checks her blood, tests her blood, takes her blood
usual.
Immediately. And
Hemlock was a verified.
Right, yeah, creepy Hemlock. We'll talk about him. So Omega is looking at Emery and saying to her, and asked her, why are you doing this? And Emery says, I'm glad that you're safe. And Omega says,
kind of ducks
am
the
I?
question.
Right, okay. By the way, I forgot to mention, so this episode was written by Stuart Lee, directed by Ezra Nachman, story editor Matt Michnovitz.
Ezra.
Okay. That's right. Okay. All right. So,
get it?
Trying to figure out what Hemlock is going after here. So I had to write down some of the dialogue. Maybe you, those who are watching us, can, chime in and let me know what you think. So now Hemlock comes, he shows up and he's glad that Omega's back, and Emery gives him the results of her blood. The M count is what it needs to be. It's a favorable M count replication. Omega asks a question, what does that mean? And then Hemlock says, okay, follow me. So he takes her into the vault, right? We saw this vault last week.
Tells her the game plan. Yes,
right. Now, but I'm confused as to what exactly he's trying to get to. So I wrote it down. So he says as they're walking to the vault, he says to Omega, an individual's M count cannot be directly replicated. Okay. Each time it's experimented, the levels degrade. Fine. Now, he claims that what he's trying to do now is mix the blood samples, and nothing worked until nothing worked until he mixed Omega sample with another M count specimen. Okay. Who is this person? All right. Because when we go into the vault, there are, as far as I know, 4 kids inside the vault, right? So we got those 3 little adolescents, and then that toddler from last week that was stolen from his mother. Okay, so which one has the M count that mixes with Omega that makes it the perfect, M count replication that Hemlock needs?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, but let me finish this. But then he says, when Omega walks into the vault and she says to him, who are they? His answer is, they are the rest of the puzzle. Okay, so my question is, if it's just one of them whose blood is mixed with Omega's, why is he holding 4 of those kids?
Because he's
detaining them.
I don't know, he's going to torture them or something?
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense unless there was well, I can't say it's a mistype or a mistake made by the writers or something that was overlooked, but I'm a little confused. Like, okay,
but it is strange.
Yeah.
Why does he have multiple kids if he really only needs Omega's blood?
Right, exactly. So, I don't know.
It's really weird that Hemlock has a bunch of children in his basement.
Yeah, right. I mean, he is a creepy guy. I'm telling you. I don't know. I don't get it. So that was something that
family friendly.
Yeah. So that was something that came to mind. Again, I don't understand what it is he's after. Is he after just one of the kids? The blood count that matches Omega, or is it several of them, we don't know. I guess we'll find out. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Do you want to say anything else about this part? Because honestly, I don't think anything. I didn't get anything more regarding this plot line.
Not much.
Okay. Okay. All right. So then what we'll do is, let us know if you have any comments or questions. If not, we'll continue to we'll keep going and talk about the appearance of Admiral Rampart. Okay. Now, I recall saying from the beginning, I think the way in for the batch to find Tantus would be somebody from the inside, right? And I mentioned Rampart as one of those people. So apparently they're taking a risk. It was Crosshair was the one that gave up the name that Rampart may know the destination of Tantus. Okay. So now this was very interesting. So another extraction. Okay. This is this is something that the batch has done more than once. Extractions, they can do that with their eyes closed. So what they do is they find out that Rampart is actually in prison and he's working on an Imperial labor camp on the planet Erebus. Okay. So of course, what they want to do is to get to that planet, get into the security labor camp and get him out of there. All right. So just take him away. Now, remember, the batch doesn't have a ship. So what they do is they borrow Fee's ship. So they get there. Of course, the extraction works. Now, not only did they get who they were looking for, Rampart, there were these other prisoners, and that were with him. Record says, well, what are we going to do about the rest of them? And you know what they do? They just free the prisoners. they free the prisoners, which is pretty
most
interesting.
of the Empire would have other things to deal with.
Yeah. All right. So these prisoners are on the loose. But, hey, we're only here for Rampart. Okay. So now Rampart, so this was cool. So they had to get Rampart off of this in this Imperial security, which is highly guarded as usual for the Empire. No one can get out. So what they do is they steal a tank, and they have a tank chase, which is awesome.
Easiest way to get out of a place: drive a tank.
Yes.
As Hunter said, speak softly and drive a big tank.
Right. Exactly. So this was pretty interesting. So I guess this is the Juggernaut, right? So just looking at the definition of a Juggernaut is any large overpowering force or object such as a war, a giant battleship, or a powerful football team. I don't know. It has nothing to do with the football
last one
team.
is so arbitrary.
Yeah, exactly. So this was the scene that we actually saw in the trailer. And I didn't pick up, and I forgot that we didn't see this scene. So this is the one where they're on the tank, and they're being flanked by all these stormtroopers. They're dropping from the sky, and they're on top of the tank. And it's Hunter is the one that's driving, and they're on this narrow road, and you can't go left or right. But it was so cool. There was a moment when Wrecker said, "Well, you got two on the top." And the Wrecker just spins it in one way and they fall off. And, now they have to get off because they're coming to a cliff. They got to do something. And then that's when you see Fee from out of nowhere come down and allow them to jump on her plane. And now the only thing, her ship, sorry. But the only thing we didn't see was Rampart, right? They left that part out. So they got Rampart.
Threw him.
Yeah, so they got Rampart. And by the way, Rampart, of course, he's got a full beard. His hair is all messed up. Just how you would expect that, just exactly how you would expect somebody to look when they were in prison for a very long time. And, he's still pompous. He talks to the Ugnaughts like, I don't know who you are. I don't understand your language. He doesn't get it. So we'll continue to talk about Rampart right after we do Q&A. Let's see who is here. Alex. Councilman Alex, I'm guessing he has multiple kids just to have more samples. Yes, as you said, he's very creepy. Yeah, I still don't understand exactly why he needs 4 of them, but I don't know. But thank you for that, Alex. All right, Jose, thank you, Jose, for joining us. I'm confused with Hemlock and the M count. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, I understand why he needs the M count to be high so that he can create clones of high force sensitive people, but I just don't understand the mixing of the blood samples. I don't know what he's trying to do there. If he just needs one blood mixed with Omega, or he needs multiple DNA, I don't know. Matthew, thank you for joining us, Matthew. Omega's blood is needed to replicate the M count, but the other kids' M count is needed for their high force sensitivity. That's interesting. Oh, so what you're saying is, okay, Omega's blood, although her M count is what they're looking for, but she may not have the force sensitivity that Hemlock needs, and that the other kids may be more force sensitive than Omega. I don't know. That's very interesting. The other kids is needed their high force sensitivity. I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, it's hard to say, because you know what, so going back to a couple episodes when Assad mentioned that Omega's high M count, either she said that, you know, her force sensitivity is very low. I think that's what she said, or the M count is low. I didn't think she was telling the truth. I still believe that Omega is force sensitive, and she does have a high M count, and she does.
Yeah, that's how many chlorians work.
Right, and she does have force sensitivity. She's just not, you know, maybe she's not tapping into it. She doesn't know how to use it, but I think she does have a high M count, which would mean that she is strong in the force. Okay. All right. So, Jose, we saw this turbo tank in Revenge of the Sith, Rookie Planet. I don't remember that. Do you remember a tank?
No.
Could be true. Speak softly and drive a big tank. Yeah, exactly. Hunter's Star Wars Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah, very cool. Well, okay, Teddy Roosevelt was a former president of the United States.
Well, yeah, I know that.
Okay, well, something that he is known to say is speak softly and carry a big stick. So that's what. Okay, Keith, you know, we don't need a history lesson right now, but yeah, we'll look it up. We'll go back and find out exactly.
You guys gonna pull out a 12-inch bamboo rod.
I guess what he's saying, if you got a big stick, you don't need to talk that much, right? You just, I don't know.
Smack people?
Exactly, right. Maybe.
What?
Look, hey, this is, you know, he was, you know, a president over hundreds of years ago, so I don't know exactly what he meant by it. But to me, it sounds like, okay, if I have this stick, I'm going to let the stick do the talking. And
I have Polish radio. Silence! Yes. Is he going to do that?
Who knows? Bloom, thank you. Thank you for joining us. I'm predicting that it would be super hilarious if Omega is teaching young kids how to use the Force and get a Jedi training montage. Why not? Well, you know, the only thing is, Omega, I don't think she has tapped into her superpowers yet as a force sensitive person. So I don't know if she's in a position to train anybody at this point, but you never know. Lisa, thank you so much, Lisa. Hello. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. All right. So let's get back to Rampart. So like, as I said, he's pompous, you know. So when the batch break in, you know, of course he identifies Crosshair immediately. You know, he tries to escape, but he couldn't. You know, he gets stunned. So we see the scene where the tank is near the edge of the cliff, but Fee comes in and, you know, saves them. Then they jump on the ship and they throw Rampart onto the ship, and then the truck crashes and everything is cool. So apparently now Rampart is going to leverage this. He's going to try to get something out of this, right? So he understands that the batch needs to find out where Tantus is. So he says, okay, well, if you need me to tell you where Tantus is, what do I get in return? So what he says is he just wants to get off this security, this planet, you know, this prison camp. He just wants to get out, which they did. They got him out. And now they said, okay, well, tell us where Tantus is. It's like, well, it's a little more complicated than that. Of course it is, because nobody can tell you where Tantus is. So it's pretty much left at this point as to how they're going to find Tantus. You know, and that's pretty much the episode. I don't know if I feel like I've missed anything, you know, let us know. But do you want to add anything? No? Okay. All right. Very good, Keith. All right. So I'm glad to see Rampart, and I just want to give a shout out to the voice actor. His name is Nosher Dalal, and he's done other voices this season. I think he was one of the You know, those teenage clones that they found on the planet in episode 2? He's the voice of one of those clones. Just a FYI. So I don't know. So let me know what you think. Like, where is this going to lead? How is this going to end up? Do you think that the Batch can trust Rampart? Because I get the impression, look, Rampart at some point is going to try to turn on them. Maybe look out. Well, of course, look out for himself. But he might be under the impression. Well, if I turn these clones in, I might get maybe a prison suspension. My term might be suspended, or it might be shortened. So he's going to try to figure out how he's going to get the best deal out of this by turning them in. I think he's going to turn on them. I think he's going to turn them over to Hemlock and the Empire,
stupid.
or do something stupid. Yeah, which he's in a position right now. Honestly, he's desperate. He wants to get out of prison. He's out of prison. He wants to stay out of prison. So he's going to try to figure out a way to, maybe get his title back. He loves being an Imperial officer. Maybe he's going to try to figure out a way back into the Empire. That's what he does best. All right. So yeah, and talk about the chase. What do you think of the chase? The chase was awesome. He is back. Now we're down to 3 episodes. All right. So let me know what you think is going to happen in these final 3 episodes. Where is this leading to? All right. Do we have any Q&A before we move on? Okay. All right. So again, 3 episodes left. I want to talk about a trailer that just dropped. That dropped while, in between the last episode and today. Let's talk about Tales of the Empire. All right. So let me know if you watched this trailer. This is very interesting because we were just talking about Tales of the Jedi Season 2 and thinking that maybe Asajj Ventress was going to show up.
Right.
But that didn't happen. Well, we don't know. It doesn't look like she's going to be in Tales of the Empire. So, but now it looks like there won't be a Tales of the Jedi Season 2, but it will be Tales of the Empire,
All right.
which is awesome.
Q&A break.
Yep, let's do that. All right, Matthew says, I think Rampart is like Hux in The Rise of Skywalker. He doesn't care who wins at this point. He just wants to see the Empire lose after what they did to him.
Well, yeah, but that means you want the rebels to win. Like, I always found his point of view preposterous because
Rampart?
for the Empire to Hux.
Oh, Hux. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
For the First Order to lose, the Resistance has to win. So.
Yeah, I get your point. Right. He doesn't want the Resistance to win. He just wants Kylo Ren to lose. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he immediately gets killed.
Yeah. The slight difference to me, though, Matthew, is I don't think at this point Rampart cares who wins. I think he just wants to get back into good graces with the Empire because he doesn't want to go back to prison. I said this before, like he, to me, is not the type of person who can do time in prison, at least not for a long time. So he now has the opportunity to get out of prison and stay out. So he's going to try to find a way to do that. So I do think he's all about himself. Maybe Hux, it wasn't about him. It wasn't about the Resistance. It wasn't about, it was about Kylo Ren. I think he just despised Kylo Ren. But in this case, all Rampart cares about is himself, right? That's my guess. Okay. All right. So, and then Alex has a good point. He has his own agenda, and I can see his desire for revenge. And Jose, I can see him reaching out to Cody or Wolf. Interesting. Reaching out to Cody or Wolf, definitely possible, but he is tricky too. Reach out to another clone? I don't
think Rampart likes clones.
Well, we know he absolutely despises
absolutely
clones.
would not want to be saved by a clone.
Right. So I don't think he's going to look for a clone to do anything for him. He'll probably turn them over to the Empire, only to be punished by the Empire afterward, which is right.
Well, that is something the Empire
risky.
would do. I mean, Vader did it to Lando.
That's exactly right. Now, remember, who is in charge of the Empire besides Palpatine? It's his former boss, right? It's Tarkin. So do you think Tarkin is going to easily say, oh, you turned in these clones. How good of you.
Oh,
Let's bring you back, and give you the title of admiral again. No, it's not going to be that easy.
I just realized.
What do you got?
You know how in Dune, there's that doctor who betrays Duke Leto, and then he does the thing, and he tries to kill the Baron, but he fails.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like what happened when Vader just scammed Lando after he got Han.
Vader scan. Okay. Well,
there's also an Emperor that's up there. So
okay. Well, all right. Yeah. If you want to compare Lando to Vader, they made a deal, and of course Vader changed the deal because he's Vader. He can do that. Again, Rampart is in a position where he just wants to, he doesn't know anything else. His life is about giving orders, putting people down. He despises the clones. So if there's a way that he can get back his rank and title, he would do it in a heartbeat. But even if he were to turn in the badge, it would not be that easy because he'd have to convince Tarkin that he deserves to be back working for the Empire. So what I'm trying to say is I don't think Rampart is going to make it past the series finale. So I think he is going to either get captured again or he's going to be one with the spice, as we would say.
Yeah.
He's going to be destroyed by someone. And look, I'm going to put it out there. I said it. It's going to be way off base. How about could you imagine seeing Vader in the last episode?
Yeah.
Is it possible? Right. I think it is. I think it's absolutely possible. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to put it out there. I'm not going to blame you for it if it doesn't work, but I will take credit for it if it does happen.
Hey.
But I would not be surprised if we see Darth Vader in the final episode.
Me neither.
Hey, you know what's going to happen? He might be the one to actually take Rampart out. Because Vader's relationship with the Imperials, he'll take out an Imperial officer at any given moment. So I think Tarkin is going to set up Rampart as soon as he finds out that Rampart is out of prison. He's going to get Vader, and Vader's going to take care of business. So that's what I
was thinking the same thing about what if Tales of the Empire came right after the end of Bad Batch. That'd be almost perfect.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that's just me talking. Seeing Vader, take out Rampart, but that might be too big of an ask. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to see Vader. All right, so we were talking about Tales of the Empire. So let me know if you've seen the trailer because I'm going to spoil the trailer as well. Just talk about some things that I picked up on and let me know if you agree. All right, so we know there's going to be 2 stories. They're shorts. I don't think they told us how many shorts they're going to be.
I'd assume 6, like they did last.
We can assume that it's 6, like 3 and 3. So one storyline is going to focus on Morgan Elsbeth. So let's talk about Morgan first. So what we know about Morgan Elsbeth that she's
dead.
Well, more than that, but that's a good point. That she is from Dathomir. Okay, so that's clear.
She's also a night sister.
And she's also a night sister, and we know what happened to Dathomir. Okay.
Incineration.
Right. If you haven't followed the story, a lot went down on Dathomir. If you pick up the book, Son of Dathomir, Darth Maul's story, there's a scene where Dooku and Grievous land on the planet and they wreak havoc. They take out the Night Sisters. They take out Mother Talzin. So it looks to me that we're going to see the remnants of the destruction. All right. We saw a scene of some flamethrowers torching the planet. Now I don't know where Morgan Elsbeth is at this point, or even know why she was still on that planet, even though she watched it burn. But she was there, and it looked like she's out for revenge. Now, what I don't follow, which I'm hoping that this series is going to explain, she decides to work for the Empire. All right.
Yeah,
so,
it's like, the enemy torched my house.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go work for them. It's like what Reva did, which makes no sense.
Right.
Like she's fully aware that Anakin became later.
Yeah.
But she's working for him.
Now, I'm sorry. Now, I did forget something very important. So let me step back. So we see in the trailer that her planet is being destroyed by droids, right? Battle droids. Now, if you remember the story of the prequel trilogy, the battle droids work for the Separatists, which is run by Count Dooku, okay? Because the Separatists had the droids, and the Republic, Palpatine had the clones, the clone army, right? And then you saw the Clone Wars was between the battle droids and the clone army. Okay, so we know that the battle droids coming to Dathmir's planet was probably something that was planned by Dooku. And at this point, I'm certain that Dooku is probably dead, right? And this is taking place right before the Order 66 was executed.
Probably
maybe.
after.
You think it was after Order 66? Okay. All right. So now getting back to Morgan, why would she want to work for the Empire unless she doesn't know that the Separatists, the Republic, the Empire is all run by the same person, which is Palpatine. So anyway, that's something interesting. So we'll see the origin of Morgan and Admiral Thrawn working together. All right. So that's one storyline. Now the other storyline is very interesting. Barriss Offee. How many people know about her story? Now, just to recap, again, spoiler review, she was the one who was charged
Barriss
with
Offee, Luminara Fonduli. I'm trying to think of food names for Star Wars characters.
Yeah. So she was the one that was charged and convicted of killing
Mango Fett.
of taking out killing Jedi at the Jedi Council. Now remember, Barriss Offee was also trained as a Jedi, right? But she turned against the Jedi Council because she felt that they were too much into the war that was taking place at that time, right? Because the Jedi were supposed to be guardians of peace, and she felt they were no longer that, and that made her very angry. So she took it out on taking the lives of some of these Jedi. And then what happened? Ahsoka was actually the one that was falsely accused for their murder, right? And she was put on trial. She escaped, then she returned, and
her escape was a way of keeping Ahsoka alive without having any implications on the story, because she's not in A New Hope,
right?
Anything other,
right
after the Clone Wars.
Okay, and then Ahsoka, she is stripped of her title, and she ultimately, after the charges were dropped and she had nothing to do with the murder, she walked away from the Jedi Council, right?
Rightly so.
Big story. So now, all right, let's stop there. We'll go to Q&A. What do we have? I've been waiting for Barriss Offee, but also Morgan Elsbeth. Both stories are Ahsoka related. Ahsoka is my favorite Jedi ever. That's very cool. I like that. Yeah. I was not expecting a story on, I don't think I was expecting one on either one. So this is pretty
Especially
awesome.
Barriss.
This is pretty awesome. Yeah. So Barriss. Okay.
Since they're doing Dathomir, they might end up explaining why Ventress came back retrospectively.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, so let's continue with Barriss Offee. So Barriss is arrested for the crime. It looks to me that an Inquisitor, not sure which one it is, visit her in prison.
Fourth sister.
The fourth sister?
Yeah.
Okay, visits her in prison and breaks her out. Okay, and
I think that might have been an Imperial cell.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that, the guards that were watching over Barriss were also taken out. But I see that.
I'm pretty sure she probably just got clearance.
Yeah, but she broke her handcuffs.
Yeah.
Right. That's not something that you're supposed to do.
Okay.
Someone's in prison.
Yeah, well, it looks like an Imperial cell.
Yeah, well, no, I agree. It's an Imperial cell, but this Inquisitor has to get her out without.
She was being escorted by clones.
I think those clones are going to bite the dust. Yeah, so they're escorting her to visit Barriss Offee, but then once she breaks her out.
No, I mean Barriss was. Remember when they said, just be glad you're not a Jedi?
That's true. That's true. Okay. Anyway, so we don't know. So it looks like what the Inquisitors are doing is recruiting her, Barriss Offee, to become one of them. And if you remember who the Inquisitors are, they're Jedi hunters, right? We talked about this before. When Anakin became Vader, one of the things that the Emperor did was to recruit some of these fallen Jedi and turn them into Inquisitors to work for him to find other Jedi and destroy them. So this is very interesting. And we get to see the Grand Inquisitor back, and he is putting her through some training. And she looks to be pretty good. And then ultimately she meets with her master, Darth Vader. So we're going to see Vader appearing. Pretty cool. What happens after that? We don't know. So these shorts drop on May the 4th. I am looking for May the 4th is going to be busy. You have something to say about the trailer? Something you might have picked up on?
Nah.
Okay. All right.
I need to form a theory.
Okay. All right. So do you have a theory now, or you want to talk? Okay. All right. So, all right. Very good. So let me know what you think of the trailer. Are you excited about Tales of the Empire? So speaking of May 4th, I want to talk about Podathon. All right. So just want to let you got something?
Theory craft.
All right. Here we go. Go ahead. While I look up.
Barriss's Tales of the Empire episodes take place after Order 66.
So far, I agree.
Because the Inquisitor that's the last one to bow looks like the same Inquisitor we saw in that episode of Tales of the Jedi, and he dies in that episode.
The one that Ahsoka took down.
Yeah.
Okay, on the farm planet. Yep, I agree.
Yep.
I agree. That's it?
Yep.
Okay, let me get a chance to sip. All right, well, that's cool. All right, so speaking of May 4th, Podathon 2024 is coming up on May the 4th. There is a press release. So the Star Wars fan community is set to unite once again for Podathon 2024. It's an all-day marathon event in support of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Make-A-Wish America. Hosted online by Podathon.com, this fourth annual fundraiser aims to make dreams a reality for children facing critical illnesses. So starting on 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on May 4th, Saturday, May 4th, and continuing until late that evening, Star Wars enthusiasts, celebrities, and content creators will join forces in a live stream extravaganza dedicated to raising funds. Okay. Star Wars fan creators will have the opportunity to contribute directly through the Podathon Make-A-Wish online platform. You can donate, all right? Every donation received directly benefits the foundation, okay? And you don't need to wait until May the 4th to donate. You can actually go to their website now, which we'll put in the chat later, but right now it is www.thesswnetwork.com/Podathon. SVSSWnetwork.com/Podathon. So this is a great event. This is Keith and I were actually a part of this event 2 years ago.
Yeah, last year, the cast of Andor.
Yes, last year it was canceled due to the strikes, but we are really honored to be a part of it again because, personally, we have known people who have used the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So this is a foundation that's close to our hearts. So we want to participate, and we do have a guest lined up. We still cannot say who this person is, but I can tell you right now who we have scheduled to appear, and that would be Paul Sung-Young Lee. All right, you remember him from The Mandalorian. He's the Rebel pilot. Pablo Hidalgo and Matt Martin. If you heard those names before, they are part of the Lucasfilm Story Group. All right, so they are lined up or scheduled to appear on May the 4th, okay? So if you have any questions, if you want to reach out to us, you have our contact information. But again, if you want to go and donate or learn more information about the Podathon, please go to their website, which is www.thesswnetwork.com/Podathon. Okay, Now, also happening on May the 4th. Let me know if you're, the movie theater in your town is doing this, but there's going to be a Skywalker movie marathon.
Why?
Did you know about this?
No.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Well, we need to talk about this. So
That is a full day of Star Wars movies.
it is. Now, from what I understand, I don't know the full details, but select movie theaters, let me know if there's one in your area, are going to be showing all 9 episodes of the Skywalker films.
Why?
Because it's May the 4th.
No, but that's 18 hours.
I know.
We're 20 because each of these movies are 2 hours 15 minutes.
Keith, let me tell you something. You can't take these Star Wars fans for granted. I'm sure there's going to be quite a few people who are going to sit and watch all the Star Wars
and
films.
quite a few who are going to take a nap during.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how the time works out. Whether they're, are there going to be breaks in between? I'm assuming so. And then at a certain point of the day, I don't know if they're going to be able to
breaks
run
are the title cards.
The breaks are the title cards. No, there's got to be breaks in between. And I don't know if they're going to be able to run all 9 episodes within 24 hours. So I'm thinking maybe they'll have this amount of movies this day on Saturday, and then maybe the rest of them on Sunday. I'm not sure, but let me know if you are aware of this. But this movie marathon is going to be taking place starting on May the 4th in celebration of the 25th anniversary of The Phantom Menace. What do you got to say? Yeah, okay, all right. So we will take any Q&A if there's any final ones coming up. But while we're waiting, Keith, where can people find us?
All right, you can find us wherever you get your podcast, socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fathers of Galaxy, website fathersofgalaxy.com. Please donate to our Patreon page, patreon.com/fathersofgalaxy. We have a merch store, fathersofgalaxy.mythreadshop.com. And yeah.
Okay, all right. Final Q&A. What do we have? Let's go. And by the way, I have something else I want to mention. What are you guys' thoughts on Star Wars Outlaws' new trailer? There we go. You want this?
I don't know. I didn't see the trailer.
Okay, well, you could just say that. We didn't.
I'm interested though. If it's going to be like a Star Wars Mafia kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Where you join the different gangs and stuff and fight people.
Yeah, Jose, I have not seen it. We have not seen it, but thanks for bringing it up. We will check it out. Okay. All right. I remember when Genevieve O'Reilly told you want the
yeah.
Okay, here you go. I remember when Genevieve O'Reilly told Keith that she remembered him. Yes, that's true that she did. Can't remember that was on Podathon, but that was very cool. Yes, you're right, because we originally interviewed Genevieve for season 1 of Andor, and then we were fortunate enough to interview her again for the Podathon. So you're right, Alex. On point. All right. Who has been your favorite guest to interview so far? What do you think?
Pass.
Pass. You don't want to say. You don't.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to put labels.
You don't want to single out. Okay. All right. Yeah.
So I was right. It's 20 hours to watch all the Skywalker saga movies.
Okay. So are the 24 hours? So, okay. So is it going to be in one day, or are they going to spread it out over a few days? It doesn't tell you. So Alex, just we don't want to ignore your question. So yeah, I guess we don't want to point favorites, but I do recall. Well, for me, my interview with Daniel Jose Older and Alyssa Wong was actually pretty cool. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
They wrote a great book. They were fun to interview, and we had laughs while we were talking with them. So that one stands out, So, but there's so many others that we enjoy. It's hard to say which one's my favorite, but yeah, that's one of the more recent ones. All right.
Whoa, get this?
Yes.
From StarWars.com. In addition, an exclusive look at The Acolyte, the upcoming Disney Plus series set during the High Republic era, will be a part of the Phantom Menace screenings.
Okay, so let me see if I understand this.
And you get a poster too.
So, oh really? A poster of The Acolyte? Or is it the Phantom Menace? So do I understand that after they show the Phantom Menace, that's when they'll show a preview or first, what do you call it? The first look of The Acolyte? Okay, well, that's pretty cool. But again, imagine, seeing all 9 of these films, Wonderful. Anyway, so more information to come on that. We're looking into getting some more details about the
Oh,
films.
RC is doing it.
Yes, that's right, Keith. Yeah, right. We'll talk to we'll talk. We'll talk. No. We'll talk to you about it, and we'll let people know. So, by the way, one thing I want to
So
say.
yeah, you get a poster. It says it on Fandango.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna shut up now.
No,
Sorry.
that's fine. One thing I want to say before we go: if you missed our live stream on Sunday,
Ghostbusters.
Okay, all right. If you missed our live stream on Sunday, we talked about the X-Men, right? But at the end, we mentioned that we're doing a push for our patron, for new patrons, right? We're trying to grow our patrons. All right. We've had a Patreon page for, I think it's going on a couple of years, but we just have not been able to actually, pick up on the growth. So we actually came up with some ideas for content that we're going to put on Patreon exclusively. You're not going to see it anywhere else unless you become a Patreon member. So one of the things that you want to repeat what you said on Sunday, and one of the content episodes that you're going to be working on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
we're almost done.
It's killing me.
It's okay.
I was gonna do an episode on like the most powerful X-Man.
Yep. Okay. Yep. And we're gonna. Yeah, that's one. And then this is a question that we've been asked for so many years, but we have never answered the question. But we finally will. People have asked us to rank all of the Star Wars films, and we will do that. And what's
on Patreon,
right? And only on Patreon. And what we're going,
the Clone Wars movie.
Yes, and what we're going to do is each of us, you and I, are going to give our list. We're going to do it separately. So in other words, you're not going to see my list. I'm not going to see your list. I'm going to rank them. You're going to rank them. We're going to do separate videos, and then we're going to come back together and we're going to compare our rankings. Okay, and that should be a great discussion. And the other thing I want to say is that, something else I've talked about, if you know us, you've watched our episodes, that I am a big James Bond fan, right? And I have never done this before, but I'm going to do it for our Patreon page, is rank all 25 James Bond films. Okay. So I'm looking forward to that. So those are the, some of the things that we have already, and, we can come up, we're going to come up with some more content. But again, we're just trying to grow our patrons. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so more to come on that. Check out our Patreon page. I think we only have 2 tiers. One is $3, one is $5. It's not that expensive, but anything that you can contribute would help us.
We encourage you to donate.
Absolutely, we it would greatly help us to grow our podcast, so
Please
that we can
donate to the needy. That's me.
Okay, we're not gonna have to go that far, but you understand. We're trying to grow up our podcast, and who we are. Get our name out there. There's so many big content creators out there. We're maybe not trying to get to their level right now, but we're just trying to get off the ground, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay. All right. So that is it. Thank you to our patrons. Speaking of patrons, Broaxium and Mary B, thank you so much. We really appreciate what you do, and you giving to us monetarily is wonderful. And we will continue to, give you the best content that we can. All right. So if that is it, and there are no more, okay. So during the Patreon stream, Keith will scream like Gordon Ramsay as he ranks the films. Right? Yeah. If you missed it on Sunday, Keith.
Somebody give me a plate crashing sound.
A mean Gordon Ramsay impression, which I had no idea he knew how to do.
I know Gordon Ramsay's on TikTok. If you see this, you better react to it.
Yeah. I think what we should do is put out a short on that. Because it was fantastic. It was totally unexpected, and I think you nailed his voice, and maybe he will see it. Who knows?
I've seen too many MasterChef fails to not understand how Gordon Ramsay yells.
Yeah, so maybe we'll, hopefully we could put out a short very soon.
I also make a very good chocolate cake, so
good.
Call me.
And then, by the way, we have some interviews lined up for our podcast that's already been done. still can't tell you, give you any more information on that. And we also have interviews that are still coming up. So continue to tune in and watch us. There's a lot going on in the last couple of months. All right. So that is it, everyone. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next Wednesday for episode number 13. All right. We should be back Sunday to review episode 5 of X-Men 97.
Yeah.
Which, let me know if you've seen it. We have not watched it yet,
spoils.
so please, no spoilers.
We're about to watch it now.
We are going to watch it right after this live stream. So thank you, everyone. So until next time, take care, and we will see you again.